Hello, everybody, and welcome for joining our last webinar Wednesday of 2025. Today we will cover Ranunculus, one of my personal favorite crops, and our expert Ivana Posniakov will tell you all the tips and tricks on the best production possible for Ranunculus. If you have any questions, there is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we will go over them at the end of the webinar. And I think that is it. So, floor is yours, Ivan.
Thank you, Renata. Thank you for my short introduction, and I happy to see everyone who will join today our webinar. And this year we're finalizing with Ranunculus, and let's start to talk about this nice crop. And I agree with Renata. This is also one of my favorite crop and one of my favorite plants. The funny things, or maybe interesting things about Ranunculus, it has a name asiaticus. It means it originally from Asia, and Ranunculus is a wild crop in the mountain area in Himalayas in general. It came from the Himalayan mountains, and Ranunculus, it is a really natural crop, really local crop for Asia. Of course, I made to say it mostly occupied Middle East region, a region close to Middle East, but in general, it is a local Asian plant. And let's start to talk about our Ranunculus portfolio, because I would like to make you be more aware and make you more friendly to our Ranunculus assortment. We have not so many series of Ranunculus, but it's really nice. It look really pretty. It look really fantastic, and I really like the flower shape. I really like the petal color patterns, and it has also name. I mean, the common name. It called buttercup flowers. And of course, you can translate it on the shape and texture of the petals. It looks really bright, really fantastic. And in our assortment, we have two different series. The main difference between two series, Magic and Masha, is a size, is a vigorousness. Magic is a more compact series. It's it's genetically compact, and the size of this series is 20 centimeters. It's up to 20 centimeters. Sometimes it's able to stretch up to 25, but in general, in common condition, it not access even 20 centimeters. And of course, it is possible to use these plants in the small pots, in the patio pots, and it is also possible to use that plants in landscape, especially in the shading landscape. It brings some kind of natural vibrance into the landscape. And we have a second series, Mache. Mache is suitable for even bit larger pots with a pot size, with a diameter 11 till 14 centimeters. And the plant height and the plant size already reach up to 30 or sometimes 35 centimeters. If you need to receive bit longer plants, you need to grow it in a more warm condition, and you're able to receive even the larger plants. So it is really fantastic plants, and we have a very much varieties in that series, in both of the series. And you can find the information on our Syngenta flowers catalog on the page 139, or you can use this link later on when you receive the presentation. You can just take this link by this QR code, and you can jump to our catalog, and you can find many interesting facts about our portfolio, our Ranunculus portfolio. Let's start to talk about how the plant of both series looks like. Here I keep the scale from 10 centimeter up to 30 centimeter, and I put the plants in the same scale, and here you can see the difference between the real difference between the two. Of course, this is only picture, but in the reality, you can see the same difference. If you keep plants all together from serious magic and from serious matcha, you will see the difference. Let's start with the magic. Magic is again is a compact series. It's suitable for the pots and patio pots. With a rather small pots, it looks nice with a 10, 12 centimeter pots. And in this series, we have 12 varieties, 12 separate colors, and 3 interesting mixes. Next series is matcha, is visibly longer. Of course, if you grow that separately, if you look at the plants not all together, it is sometimes difficult to see the difference 10 in the height 10 centimeters. But if you keep both series all together, you very easily will be able to recognize which plant belongs to which series. So matcha is a really visibly vigorous plants, taller, and in this series we have even already we have 12 series and special mixes. And let's start to talk about the technical specific of that plant. But before, I would like to share some kind of interesting pictures and interesting application of the ranunculus. Now, especially in Europe, is more popular the concept called the bouquet in the pot. So it means you can use some crops, some plants as a bouquet, but which planted as a normal plants in the pots, and you can share, you can present this kind of a small bouquet for your friends, for your lovers, and you can amaze them because of the beautiful bunch of the flowers on the top. And this concept also very suitable for ranunculus. And ranunculus, you can use this ranunculus as one of the perfect gift for your friends, for your relatives, for your family, for the holidays. So ranunculus is one of the perfect crop to create a nice mood, nice impression, and it is possible to use like instead of the cut flowers. And of course, as because the plants will placed in the substrate, it will be rooted in that substrate. It will be able to bloom in longer than cut flowers. So this is very interesting concept. Maybe it with the time this concept will be more popular in the Asian region, in APAC region as well. And let's start to talk about the 5 critical factors which needs to taken in account to get a nice plants from young plants production up to ready plants production. First of all, is a cold germination and of course cold growth. I need to tell ranunculus it's really cold lover crop, and so that's why it's suitable not for all regions. So you need to understand that ranunculus requires really cold temperatures like 10, I mean, of course, for the Southeast Asia and the South Asia, like 10 degrees, up from 10 degrees up to 15 degrees. In this condition, you will easily receive the nice shape of the plants with many flowers. In the region with a suboptimal temperature, you're also able to grow ranunculus, but for the germination stage, cold temperature is really critical. And later I explain how to handle or how to manage the germination process and how to keep the proper temperature very effectively. Short day length. Short day length concerning to the early stage, young plant stage, and the few weeks after transplanting, you need to keep the plants under the short day condition to receive nice plant shape, nice habit, mounding habit, to avoid leggy, stretchy stems, and preliminary budding. So that's why the short day length condition is really critical to create a nice plant. Stretching control. Of course, we need to think on the stretching control because ranunculus producing a long stems with the flowers. I mean the flower stalks, and as because of the plant anatomy, these flower stalks able to stretch too much, and especially in hot condition. To avoid this, we need to get some kind of we need to apply some kind of tricky things to avoid the stretching. And of course, not forget that ranunculus is a crown crop. It is really critical when you transplanting the plants from the plugs into the ready pots. In this stage, you need to clearly understand how to transplant young plants into the final containers. And of course, we will talk about the plant protection, and we will focus on the trips control, on the trips development and the sources of these kind of pests. And let's start to talk about every stage one by one. And we will start with a germination stage. And before we move to the technical tips, please not forget to visit our YouTube channel. By this link, you can find, and by this QR code, you can find our YouTube channel in the internet, and you can find there Syngenta Flowers APAC account, and there you can find another webinars, which is kind of which is created past 2 years. And not only webinars you can find there very interesting video from the different location in Southeast Asia. And you will be able to enjoy the nice plants video with the nice plants there. Let's start to talk about the germination stage. What the general condition for the germination. Of course, we will talk about how which the containers we need to apply, or which size of tray we need to apply for ranunculus. The common trays with 288 cells is applicable, absolutely applicable for ranunculus. Of course, only one seed per cell is enough to create a nice field trays. And as because you already see the picture, the clear answer on the question, is it necessary to cover the plants? Of course, it is necessary. And because here on the picture, you can see examples of the trays with the ranunculus sewn on there. And the light is not required for germination. So you not need to provide a special light condition for ranunculus. This is good news. And please be focused on the cold temperature, cold germination. This is a very crucial factor to get good germination rate of ranunculus, as because ranunculus has special very small embryos, undeveloped embryos inside the cells, and it needs to be and this embryo needs to be developed. And ranunculus normally growing in the highland, and in the highland in the spring condition, normally they receive in a low temperature. And for the many millions of years of ranunculus evolution, it mostly adapted to this kind of condition. So that's why it is a really critical condition. It is very difficult to manage by different ways. So that's why I would like to pay a lot of attention on this condition. And of course, please not forget to provide the proper substrate moisture. Saturated substrate moisture is required by ranunculus during the whole period of germination. And another thing, I would like to focus your attention on the germination length, germination time. Ranunculus requires 2 or 3 weeks for germination. So if you not see the visible seedlings after 1 week, when you keep your seeds, for instance, in germination chamber or on the shelves, and if you are not able to see through the 1 week, please don't worry, because ranunculus takes really a long time to develop the undeveloped embryos, because again, ranunculus, the ready seeds of ranunculus has less developed embryos is because Ranunculus is a evolutionary, very old species, and it is quite primitive, and so because of this specific, it needs to take longer time, extended time for germination. And normal germination rate for Ranunculus for Mache is 80%, for Magic is 75%. And how to create a proper temperature condition, because as you can understand, not in any location you can find a proper condition. The best solution is a germination chamber. Here you can see examples of germination chamber. You need to keep the soil temperature within the optimal rate from 10 up to 11 degrees, but suboptimal range can be, the temperature can be increased up to even 14 degrees, but it is better to keep in general in the range between 10 and 12 degrees. So different type of germination chamber you can find here, but the most critical condition you need to have in the germination chamber is air cooling. So you need to have in the germination chamber air condition set to create a proper plant, to create a proper temperature for the seedlings. And this is a really critical thing. Light is not required for germination, so that's why the light is optional for the ranunculus. It not needs to create also complete dark condition, but the air con is really critical item for germination chamber. And let's start to talk about when we have to sow the ranunculus. Of course, most of the growers is quite experienced already with a different series of ranunculus, and of course with the Mache in Magic from Syngenta. And most of the experienced grower already knows the time of the year when he must to start with the sowing process. So, for instance, we can take as an example the Chandigarh location. Chandigarh is the north part of India, and the temperature condition and climate condition is really suitable to produce a ranunculus because quite a large part of the year they have comfortable temperature for ranunculus and for cyclamen, for instance. And here you can see the example of the temperature changes through the month, and here you can find a specific time because of this kind of temperature condition, and the sowing time, the perfect sowing time is October. So here you can see the frame for the seedlings production, and here you can see the right time for the sowing. If you keep the seeds in the protected area, in the shaded area, or in the germination chamber, in October, these seedlings can get proper temperature naturally. Or you can, of course, shift a sowing time early if you provide special temperature condition in the germination chamber. So that's why germination chamber is ideal situation, is ideal solution for ranunculus seedlings. And ranunculus seedlings takes at least 3 months to be developed, to get a final stage, to be ready for transplanting. So that's why here you can see the frame is covered that area. So here you can see from end of September up to mid of January, it is proper time to produce the seedlings in that location. And what about the substrate? Which kind of substrate? For ranunculus, as a crop with a modified roots, with a special roots, because it has a special roots, little bit fatty roots, the substrate quality is really critical. So try to avoid for ranunculus any kind of undecayed organic material like cow dungs or any kind of compost which is not completely decayed. And what kind of substrate is applicable and recommended for ranunculus? Of course, normal peat moss is applicable. Coco peat, it is applicable. And even the soil-based substrate without any kind of organic, undecayed organic material is also applicable. But please keep in pay attention for the pH. Before you start to use a substrate, measure pH, because Ranunculus is sensitive to high level of pH. Optimal pH range is 5.5, 5.9, is below the 6 in general. Ranunculus Ranunculus absolutely tolerant to little higher pH, like 6 or 6.1. But try not exceed the 6.2. The point 6.2 is critical for Ranunculus, because Ranunculus doesn't like too alkaline substrate condition. So that's why I try to avoid lime-based substrate or chalk-based substrate, and provide Ranunculus with a high aerated substrate. So 30 or 40 even 40% of inert agent like a perlite or a zeolite needs to be added into the substrate, and it provides, like for the gerbera, it provides good condition for the root development. And substrate ESC should be quite low, 0.5 or 0.7. It is applicable for Ranunculus. And what kind of other condition need to be in the place where you would like to grow the Ranunculus? Of course, a low temperature need to be there. The temperature rate in the daytime is 11 up to 13 or 14 degrees. In the nighttime, it should be mostly the same, but it can be a little bit lower. And try to avoid drying out of Ranunculus, because Ranunculus is sensitive to the low water application, and the substrate moisture level should be within a 4 and 3. Not try to reach out to dry medium or dry medium level in the substrate. And here in the picture you can see a well-developed plant. It requires water quite often. Water needs to be applied quite oftenly, but because if you grow the Ranunculus in the low temperature, honestly, it doesn't require to apply the water quite often, because in low temperature, of course, the transpiration will be depressed. And what's about the light condition? And another critical items for Ranunculus is a short day length. Try to avoid long day condition or artificial light after the sunset for Ranunculus, because Ranunculus needs to Ranunculus require short day length condition to produce enough quantity of the leaves. Because Ranunculus is made to say the very strongly, I mean, Ranunculus development really strongly depends on the day length condition. It's really long day length crop. Ranunculus requires to get a low day length, I mean, short day length condition in the seedling stage and in the early stage. If you provide long day condition, plants start to produce flower stems preliminary before it get a nice shape. So what is a short day condition? Short day condition, it means the day length should be in the range about 10 hours. 9, 11 is applicable, but it shouldn't increase up to 12 hours, because in 12 hours condition, even in if the day the day and the night time is equal, in this condition, Ranunculus in kind of high rate can get flower stalks. And you need to keep this day length condition up to plant will develop at least 12 leaves. In this stage, plant will get a nice shape, mounding shape, and after that, you're able to transfer the plants into the long day length condition. And the light intensity not should be high in the seedling stage. It should be alternate between the 20 and 25 kilolux. So it means the good and even the double shading needs to be in the greenhouse, need to be arranged in the greenhouse. Here in the picture, you can see the double shading. One, it is visible on the top, and the second layer visible beneath that. And what's about the different condition? What's about fertigation tips? Because fertigation is critical also for Ranunculus as for other crops. And you see, not need to be too high for Ranunculus. You see, optimal range should be within 0.5, 0.75 centimeter in the water, and sorry, in the substrate, and in the water you need to keep to create the proper EC in the substrate. It need to be kept under the 0.7, 1.5. If you recalculate this concentration into the ppm of nitrogen, you will receive 50, 75 ppm of nitrogen. And in the NPK, it will be about 0.55, 1.5 gram per liter. And NPK should be should be taken with a low phosphorus. So please choose in the market, find in the market fertilizer with a low phosphorus, because Ranunculus doesn't require too much phosphorus. And it quite sensitive to that. So the range like a 17, 5, 17, absolutely ideal for the Ranunculus. And water with the rinsing is very helpful to avoid over salinity, because on the seedling stage, Ranunculus requires rather low concentration of fertilizer. And let's start to talk about the transplanting. So we fertigated the plants well, we kept under the short day condition, and we received the nice plants. And how the young plant looks like when it's ready to transplant it. It's need to bear about 6 or 7 leaves. Of course, not 10 or 12. These young plants, as you can see in the picture, already need to be transplanted into the bigger pot. And which kind of pot size applicable for the plants? Here you can see the example of the Magic series. It's compact series. And of course, the plant size, I specially prepare this table. Plant size, pot size, you can find here in the table. So for Magic, as because it bit more compact plant, you able to apply even the small pot like half of liter. It is approximately 9 till 12 centimeter pot, so it's really not big pot, and the plant looks really nice in this size of pot. And of course, you're able to apply even the bigger pot, like a 15 centimeter pots, or 1 liter pot, or and 1.5 liter pot. And if you would like to arrange the plants in a bigger pot size, you need to keep there a bit more plants, like 2 or 3 plants per pot. For Mache, small containers, it's unapplicable because it is really big plants. You can imagine the 30 centimeters is not very easily to keep even in the 15 centimeter pots. So that's why the pot size should start with the 1 liter pots, like 13 or 15 centimeter. And of course, you can arrange a plant in the bigger pots. You can apply 1.5 or 2.5 liter pots. If you keep there 1 or 2 plants, of course, for smaller pots, it is enough to keep just only 1 plant of Mache. And in the bigger pots, you can apply the larger quantity of the plants. And the seedlings development takes about 11-12 weeks. So Ranunculus, it's long-term crop. So that's why I mentioned when we talked about the proper time for the sowing, I mentioned the seedlings development takes about 3.5 months. In more warmer condition and with a good fertigation, you can receive the nice plant even within 10 weeks. But if you have a really cold condition in production area, it sometimes can be extended up to 11 or 12 weeks. And how to transplant? This is the second, this is a quite critical condition for the ranunculus. How to transplant? Here you can see three examples. From the left to right, you can see the slightly higher plant placed slightly higher, plant placed below the substrate level in the pots, and plant placed more higher. What is a proper way to transplant the plants? And of course, you can can very easily recognize that the first example is a proper place, is a proper position of the plants in the pots. It should be slightly higher. I mean, the substrate in the block needs to be slightly higher than the substrate level in the pot. Second example is too low place of the ranunculus seedlings, and the third example is too high place. And what kind of condition we have to create two young plants transplanted into the finished pots. The general condition, it is also mostly the same like for young plants in the first 2-3 weeks. So temperature should be kept under the 11 or 13 degrees in the daytime and 10-12 degrees in nighttime. Please keep in mind that it is possible to increase the temperature. So it means that you're able to produce ranunculus in a higher temperature, especially if you are able to apply the PGRs. The suboptimal temperature range, it is something about up to 18-90 degrees. Why it is critical not to increase the temperature higher? Because ranunculus is a crop sensitive to high temperature. Because high temperature is a kind of signal for ranunculus to come to the dormant, because ranunculus biologically is not a biennial crop, is not annual crop, is a perennial crop. It forms a special big roots where it's able to store the the food for the next year development, like a starch or a sugar inside, and a plant able to stay under the ground, to be stored under the ground in the improper condition when it's coming in the late of summer, in the natural, I mean in the nature, when where ranunculus came from. In the ranunculus natural for ranunculus, the natural condition is warm, warm or hot summer and cold and rainy winter. In this kind of condition, ranunculus use the winter time to develop the plants and to produce flowers and seeds. So that's why a high temperature above the 20 degrees is a signal for ranunculus for the to came to the dormant. So it means if you provide too high temperature for ranunculus will in general stop to grow, or it start to come to the dormant, start to finalize the development, finalize the growth. It start to turn color of the leaves to yellow, and it is not really it's not really proper condition for ranunculus. So, but up to the 18 degrees, you're able to extend the temperature. And in the night condition, it's possible also to extend the temperature a bit higher, up to 15-16 degrees. But what to do with the plant? Because higher temperature will lead plants to the stretching. Of course, the proper light condition is one of the best tools to create a more compact plant. So UV level will help you to keep the plant less stretchy, to keep the plant more compact. And of course, other condition, provide a proper pH range in the substrate. It will provide a proper mineral absorption from the water. And of course, please don't forget about the moisture level. Moisture level not be too dry. Please provide the moisture level between 4 and 2. In the ready stage, in the final stage, it is possible to keep ranunculus more drier, but not keep it dry for the long time. And here you can see a well-developed plant, very well-developed compact plant. But how to handle the plants if you are not able to keep the temperature within the optimal range, like 12 up to the 13 degrees. Yeah, of course, you can grow the plants in a more warm condition, but you need to know the tools how to prevent the plant from stretching. And here I indicated the suboptimal range as a current range. And what kind of the tools? Of course, the answer is PGR. And the spray of B9 is absolutely applicable for the, especially for the mache. In the final stage, Magic series doesn't require PGRs because it's genetically compact. And if you will try to grow two crops all together, you will see the Magic really doesn't require PGR application. And mache in the high temperature needs to get PGR application. And I advise to apply 1 or 2 times of B9 about the 1 week after transplanting. A first application can be in 1 week after transplanting. And please keep the plant in the short day condition before it will develop 12 leaves at least. So if you keep the plants in the proper condition, you will receive in the short day condition, you will receive more leaves and the plants will look more dense, even if it a little bit stretched. So here you can see the not really developed plants. You can find, if you look at the picture, you can find that the lower leaves, it has a stretchy, petioles, and the quantity of leaves is not enough to cover the substrate. And you can see the clear difference between the plant on the right side of this slide and in this picture. And let's start to talk how to fertigate the plants. Please keep in mind, keep in attention that in the final stage, Ranunculus already requires much higher concentration. So that's why I increase the font size and to keep the number of the nitrogen ppm here in the bold and big font. Ranunculus in this stage needs to get already 125, 175 ppm of nitrogen. And if you recalculate this concentration or this rate of nitrogen into the grams per liter of the fertilizer NPK, like 1570 or similar one, you will receive 0.85 up to 1.5 gram per liter. So it is much higher than you need to provide for the young plants. So please keep in mind, Ranunculus need to change the concentration of the fertilizer from the seedling stage into up to the final stage. And of course, to control EC, you need to check with every watering. You need to check the EC, and EC in the water need to be reach up 1.7, 2.5 millisiemens. And of course, in the substrate, I really advise to check at least 1 time per 2 weeks to check the EC in the substrate, and it should not be exceed 2.1. And it of course not needs to be below 1.5 or yeah, of course it's sometimes possible to decrease the EC if the EC in the substrate will decrease below the 1.5. But if you see the if you find a 1 or 1.2 millisiemens in the substrate, it means the plant really hungry. It's a bit closer to start to how to say face the problem with the fertigation. And of course, use the water with a rinsing or draining. It will help to avoid over salinity in the substrate. And here in the picture, you can see the plants, well-developed plants, fertilized by the dripping system. It is also applicable overhead application and the application with from the bottom of the pots, of the containers. And prepare ranunculus for blooming. This is another special preparation how you can manage the blooming time. If you see plants already develop 12, 13 leaves, in this time you're able already to change the day length. The day length will turn plant to generative stage. Here you can see the plant just transplanted into the pots. It not fill the pots completely, so it needs to be kept under the short day condition. Day length should be below the 11 hours. As far as you receive the plants with the 12, 13 leaves, you're already able to move the plants to the daily condition. So it means you need to start shading the plants, and stop to shading the plants, and you're able to apply artificial light for the plants. And in this kind of condition, plant will start to produce the flower buds and flower stems. And let's to talk about how to fertigate, what we have to change to prepare the plants for the better blooming. In this stage, you of course need to provide the same level of NPK, but you need to change NPK rate for the difference. Nitrogen should be lower in the low concentration than the phosphorus. So in the NPK, nitrogen should be in the level about 17, 15. At the same time, potassium should be in the level 30, 35, 40. So approximate rate between nitrogen and potassium should be like 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2. This range will provide a better condition. The additional potassium will provide better condition to flower bud formation. And what is the you see in the water? Of course, in the water it should be the same during the all time of the finishing stage. And of course, don't forget the pH should be under in the range 5.5, 5.9, below 5.9. And let's move to the another critical things is a trips management. You can see the very nice picture of the trips. It looks very beautiful here, but it's not so nice animal for the plants, especially for Ranunculus. The problem is the trips able to transfer different type of viruses, and especially TOSPA virus. Later on, I will mention. I think I mentioned in the slides. And what's the element of protection? Again, I would like to remind that plant protection is not only the chemical protection. Chemical protection is just only the one part of the plant protection. So here I would like to recall the parts of the pest management. One, and the critical thing is hygiene in quarantine. The second thing is scouting. Please check the plants as in the regular base. It not means you need to make it every day, but at least one time per 3 days you need to check the plants and to check the presence of any kind of pests there. Growing condition, of course, the stronger plants are more easily able to resist against trips and other pests. Clean area, keep area free from any kind of plant residuals, any kind of weeds on the ground. It will help you to avoid collecting the pests, collecting the different animals in your greenhouse. And of course, the chemical protection. Chemical is not the first one, but it is quite effective, but not the first one, not the first element of protection. And of course, the physical protection. Later on, I will tell about the physical protection in details. And here you can see what's wrong with this picture. Here you can see the ground of the greenhouse covered with a plastic, but grower kept in one place, made to say the welcome banner for the all kind of pests. So here you can see the blooming plants. It's like oxalis and the kind of arabis there with the flowers, and the blooming plants in the greenhouse is a welcome banner for any kind of pest, especially for the trips. For the adult trips is really attractive things. And of course, as I mentioned, the trips is a vector for the TOSPA virus, and not only for the TOSPA virus, for other types of viruses. And what kind of the special type of protection against the trips you can apply? Physical protection is one of the interesting tool. By this kind of protection, you're able to save a lot of money. Physical protection contains sticky traps, UV traps, and pheromone traps. The most common is, of course, sticky traps. UV traps and sticky traps is really effective way to protect your plants and to decrease the population of the pests in the greenhouse, not only for the trips, also for the fungal gnats and also for the scars, which also really like to live in the plaques with the ranunculus or in the substrate in the pots, because ranunculus requires quite high water level. And what kind of physical protection you can apply all together with the traps? Of course, is anti-insect nets, ground cover, as I mentioned. And here in the picture from the right side, you can see the ground protected even with the concrete. This is a best solution how to maintain your greenhouse free from the trips. Distance between the plants and the ground. If you provide distance, pests, especially trips, will not be able to reach out the plants very easily. And of course, physical parameters. Proper light intensity, proper temperature will provide your plants better than than any kind of chemicals. And of course, here you can see, yes, I would like to display the kind of nets, insect nets here, and chemical control. Trips is a quite dangerous pests in greenhouse, and many of trips strains already resistance to different type of chemicals. Here I would like to highlight a more effective kind of chemicals. Here you can see very nice biological protection against the trips as well. It calls azadiractin. These kind of chemicals made from the plant. It is biological protection. And of course, some of the chemicals are very effective as because of their systemic way of working. Is of course, I would like to mention thiamethoxam. Thiamethoxam is also very effective tool against the trips. But please don't forget about the few critical things when you apply the chemicals. Is of course a rotation, the active ingredient rotation, and please don't forget to check phytotoxicity because sometimes the chemicals also can be toxic to the plants. And please provide the treatment from the how to say it. The quality treatment from below of the plants, because trips mostly feeding into the other side of the plants or into the bottom of the leaves, and so that's why proper chemical application need to be applied, especially if you apply not systemic insecticide. Sorry. So if the insecticide not able to go through the tissues, it's not translaminar or not systemic, please provide the proper application, so also from the bottom of the leaves. And another pests, which kind of another pests really likes to live in the plaques or in the substrate with the ranunculus? Of course, it's scars and the fungal gnats. This is a pain, a very big pain of the many growers, especially who grows the cyclamen and the ranunculus. And here I would like to display different type of the tools against the fungal gnats. Of course, it is you need to be focused on the irrigation management, not to keep level 4 or level 5 for long-term condition. Let's give the substrate to be a bit more drier. And of course, for ranunculus, it's very difficult to manage this kind of condition, because ranunculus doesn't require too dry condition. So that's why it is good substrate for the fungal gnats developing. That's why the better protection against the fungal gnats is chemical and biological methods, and of course the traps. Traps will save maybe 50% of your money, which you need to apply for the against the fungal gnats. Biological method contains the application of the different type of the bacteria and the nematodes. It is really quite effective chemicals, especially bacterial chemicals, bacterial-based chemicals, because it's able to stay for a long time in the substrate. And let's start to talk about diseases. This is final. So, here I would like to finalize with a ranunculus protection as well. The most common disease in ranunculus is a botrytis and pythium. Here you can find quite enough numbers of the different active ingredient. And please don't forget to rotate, because resistance against different against the common types of active ingredients it is common case in the fungal diseases. Fungus very easily to create, easily to develop resistant strains against a different type of chemicals. So that's why please don't forget to rotate the chemicals after the at least 3 times of application. And here I would like to say thank you for your attention. I would like to wish you a nice season, because now it's mostly the sowing season in many locations for ranunculus. So I will I would like to wish a nice sales season as well. And I hope these advices and this kind of slides will help you to avoid many problems, and will help you to create a nice blooming plants in your greenhouses. And I would like to also share some kind of additional information. Here you can find example of the crop scheduling with a different temperature range, different condition, depends on the stage, week by week. And you can use this table to create your own scheduling, to implement this production scheduling of ranunculus to your own scheduling. This kind of additional gift. And I would like to say thank you very much. And I would like to ask Renata. Renata, do we have any kind of questions in the Q&A box?
I will have a check. No, currently we don't have any questions. If other questions rise later in the weeks of time, you can always email us. You can email it directly to Ivan if it's a technical question. If you have other questions, you can reach out to us in different ways as well. Thank you, Ivan, for sharing your expertise on this crop. Once again, for everyone who attended, thank you for joining us for this last webinar. We sure had a great time hosting them to you. And in a few days, we will send a recording of this session. And if you have, like I said, any other questions, feel free to email us and visit our website for all available crops and series as well. And for now, I hope you have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you each other again in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.